Hello and welcome back to Clockwork Dandy Needles, the channel where we continue to break down the spring 2021 anime season that is bringing us many great titles. However, you want to make sure you're subscribed because very shortly you are going to see what 4 anime I have chosen to break down next season. I have had a little look. It is the summer of isekai, my least favourite genre. But there are 4 titles I think are worthy of breaking down that I think you guys may like. So that should be coming your way in about 3 weeks. I have it. I need to script it up. I still need to consider my lineup and how I overall feel about this season. But that is coming up and going your way very shortly. There is a good way of not missing it, and that is ensuring that you are on the Discord. You get a notification sent straight to your phone whenever any video goes up on the channel, and you are informed of any delays. So there's been a couple of delays here and there, not too many, but it will allow you to know that if something is missing, it will be going up on when. There is, of course, a new feature where I'm doing my Let's Plays. Part 1 of Devil May Cry 5 is up, and the second part goes up tomorrow. So just something different to pad out the channel to see if we can try and get the sub count moving a little bit. So let's jump back to episode 7. We have departed from Ninoha. We are now in a completely new location. Last week we saw what I was calling Gecko Boy. I will call him Gugu again just because I feel bad if he is destined to die and I'm calling him Gecko Boy. So we will name him Gugu like he is actually called. But we are reminded of our narrator's lines to preserve this world until the end, which are very deep words indeed, but what does it mean? Does it mean that the world we're in is in danger? Is it at some point going to end? We know that Fushi and perhaps the narrator may also be ending. There's many different questions going on, so perhaps as well they can be read multiple directions. But we are going to get a nice cold open. This cold open is to give us a bit more backstory on our new character, Gugu, and it's his story. So we are introduced as well via the backstory to some details about the world that we live in. We know there's a bit of a hierarchy going on, so we've still got rich people, we've still got poor people. Gugu and his brother are sadly not in the mansion that they want to be in, but that mansion, living in the mansion, working hard, making some money, that is the goal that they wish to achieve. That is what drives the two initially. The world feels very similar to Yaname in the sense that it's bustling, there's produce, there's buildings, there's a marketplace, there's a currency that's going on. Gugu having a crush on a mysterious girl as well, so a bit more motivation for our character, seeing how awkward he is as well, he's too shy to look at her as she goes by. Where we are introduced initially to just a random drunk guy who sells alcohol on hills, and he ties these pigs up, which are upside down on his back, and the possible criminal, but it is passed off. So initially it didn't mean anything, but obviously this character is hugely important later down the line, where sadly our boy Shin, our brother, is lying to Gugu, and it is so sad because I feel bad because you know what he's up to, and his new friends are definitely contributing factors to what's going on. But Shin kind of gaslights poor Gugu by going, well, no, it wasn't any of us, it wasn't my friends, even though you can kind of guess, because I think the line they end up leaving on is make sure you win tomorrow. So maybe he's betting on something, maybe he's gambling with the money that they have both made. When we meet the stray lost dog, I figured I knew exactly where we were going with it being the girls, and the dog's name is Mur, and this basically tells us that Gugu is literate. He's able to at least read writing, putting him a slight advantage above Fushi, because initially Gugu felt very Fushi-like. He did feel like this strange boy who obviously had the brother, wasn't quite aware of what was going on. Initially when we first see him as well, he was very quiet, but he can read, and especially this week as well, he's actually quite a charming little character, and he's kind of growing on me a little bit. He ends up receiving quite a nice little gift from the girl, and his crush similarly recognising him. Shin does the inevitable thing of running away, abandoning Gugu, taking all the money with him, and we see Gugu alone. He's definitely crushed. He's lost his spark. He's not as bouncy as he was, where he starts to question his own identity. And the character of Gugu is quite philosophical. We see him questioning life, death, the idea of fate, where he considers killing himself, but then he says, actually, no, that's stupid, which is a very nice way of seeing where he stands inside his own mind, the fact that he's questioning things. Fate ending up deciding to intervene in a very harsh way, initially spares Gugu. It doesn't last for very long, which is quite sad. When the guy was like, watch the log, well, the log wasn't exactly gonna go anywhere, so I don't quite understand why we needed someone to watch it. However, the log doesn't stay where it is for very long. It ends up giving Gugu a nudge, a push in the right direction to save Rin and end up sacrificing his own self. Rin ends up crushed, but poor Gugu ends up being left alone. Nobody even realizes he is there, and he is left out in the open, found by our criminal, alcoholic, drunk, pig-tying up man. That is when we get our twist of fate. Poor Gugu ends up disfigured, which gives us an explanation behind the creepy gecko mask. And this is where our storylines finally merge. So we finally meet up with Fushi. We saw this last week. Fushi was introduced as the immortal monster. Straight away, Gugu identifies with the immortal monster. Maybe out of sympathy, maybe for the fact that he now considers his own self a monster. He looks very interesting, the way he's been recreated underneath that mask. But again, I can't help but imagine what a drunk Fushi is going to be like. I can imagine it's a bit more slobbery than usual. But again, I do find Fushi adorable, so he would probably be even more adorable. We can see some actual after effects of last week's episode. Fushi is actually traumatized by the woods now, so even our immortal beings are scared, and Fushi now starting to understand the concept of fear, understanding that he doesn't want to go in the forest. So this is the first time we've seen Fushi exhibit a consciousness or being aware of the way that he feels. Fushi's new phrases, I don't know, but we're definitely starting to see his vocab open up. He's starting to be able to answer a bit more. He's able to just say, well, I don't know this is yummy. He's starting to at least get the basics, so he'd be able to go to a new country and he knows the basics of the language, but he's not very conversational. But we do see something quite creepy, that Fushi is actually fused to his own clothing, which is creepy, but I guess if that's part of the form that he takes on, so saying with like March, if he was to transfer to March suddenly, it's all part of a form, and he's a orb, so he's taking on the image, and I guess in that sense the clothes that person was wearing is part of the form that he takes. But it does kind of remind me of the Spider-Man powers. He's a bit sticky and he sticks to the helmet. Don't teach Fushi a bad word if you really don't want Fushi to start calling you ugly. This episode made me laugh and I love it. It's quite comic with the way that he kind of just interjects going ugly, ugly, ugly. And I also love the fact that that helmet opens up. It opens up so you can talk, and it's like a movable jaw. So if you are going to make a cosplay of this, you need to make that jaw on a hinge of some sort, allowing you to communicate and say ugly. I like it. It's great. We suddenly have two monster friends, and Gugu is now taking on the role that March had, where he's going to be teaching him how to speak, how to do work, understanding about food. And we can sense that a new level is approaching. To hit the next level, we need to learn how to work and make Fushi more functionable. Gugu feeling very similar to March, asking endless questions, tons and tons of questions. What about your parents? What about this? What about this? And in turn, this allows Fushi to start thinking and learning, allows him to go, well, I don't know this answer. I don't know that answer. Gugu's brother lied to him by saying, oh yeah, I'll come back for you one day. And this in turn tells us that Gugu is an optimist, and he loves, and he's quite a loving character. The fact that he swears immediately to protect Fushi, and we learn that Fushi could initially start a war, but we've already learned that Yaname is already at war with this nation, so this would definitely spark an even bloodier war. Gugu feeling very protective of another monster like himself, showing us some brotherly love. That March was that mother figure, Gugu is a brother figure, and they're both family members. So Fushi is gaining family members each of these episodes. And I love that he's like, well, you can't sell Fushi. You can't turn him into Alco Pops. He is a morally good character. And because he's quite young again, I do feel that only the younger characters like March and Gugu could be like this and could be entirely honest and could be morally good without having any goal of making money or something. So as much as they are like, we must be thankful for meeting Fushi, I think Fushi also needs to be very, very thankful for meeting these characters, these great characters who don't intend to harm him. Gugu, the philosopher, once more asking, where are you going to be in 10 years? Well, I kind of figure he's going to be with the narrator at some point, or the narrator's going to come back and claim him. Well, how long is this story going to be? Because I've seen artwork which suggests that we're going to go right into the modern times, so maybe Fushi will be somewhere in 10 years. Lamenting about the life that he has lost, he can no longer have that life that he wants, and he feels that this is now a definite future. He's going to be stuck here working forever. But are things really set in stone? This anime does play with the idea of fate quite a bit. Gugu does say that he is satisfied with living this set in stone life if Fushi is there with him, which is really, really adorable. I'm so happy that Fushi has found another loving character like Gugu. Look who comes a-knocking. Rin is coming a-knocking, looking for a health supplement. So Rin is still wounded from our Final Destination style log attack from 3 months ago. And just seeing Gugu getting really, really embarrassed and being absolutely adorable because he has the biggest crush on her is great. It's fantastic. And Fushi being a bit of a bad wingman in the fact he's like, ugly. I really like it. And yeah, it turns out our girl Rin doesn't like Gugu, she likes Fushi, which is the biggest kick in the teeth to poor Gugu there could ever be. She's fallen for the silent tool type who hasn't even said a single word to her. Well, I guess Fushi has won the lady's heart. I can't think of another character who doesn't say anything, who is tall, really silent, and I might have a big crush on him, maybe. Sorry, wrong video. But Fushi being completely oblivious is what makes it absolutely adorable. He doesn't quite understand the situation, but he has learnt Rin's name and he's repeating it repeatedly. But as Gugu says, he needs a teacher and somebody who can help him take off his clothes, which Rin gets very, very hyped up for that idea. This episode definitely giving us a bit more of a comic punch. It's been a while since we've had a bit of comedy in the series. I like it. I think it really, really works and it's very clever. Gugu deciding to go on a One Punch Man style workout and become a man. And then he kind of kicks poor Fushi away. He's like, you don't need to do it. Go away. Shoot, I don't like you anymore. But he has now found another monster to live with. Yeah, he has got Fushi there as a sideman as much as he wants. It's all about finding self-worth. And I like the fact that this seems to be the theme of this week's episode is self-worth, loving yourself, regardless of how you look. It is a fantastic comic episode that focuses on bonds, relationships, and the idea of family once again, family coming up. Fushi is starting to really expand his vocabulary. I love it. Gugu as well, being quite philosophical, is allowing Fushi to also think and become a bit more self-aware in that sense. It's a great episode. I love it. Of course, I'm awaiting something bad to happen at some point. I don't know where it's going to come from. We keep mentioning the fact that there could be a war started over Fushi. Maybe that's what's going to get Gugu hurt. Who knows? Hopefully not soon. I do hope we get at least another episode of calm before everything kicks off and goes mental. I really love it. This week's episode is quiet. It's a nice quiet patch, but it's a great way of introducing us to a character. I didn't know if I was going to like Gugu or not, but I think he's growing on me. I think I really like him. So I can't wait to see what happens next. And Lucky Fushi already got a bit of a fan base going on. Go you! But I will see you guys again next week. I love To Your Eternity. I'm always hyped whenever a new video goes out. So I hope your Trauma Monday isn't going too bad. We have been spared trauma this week, so thank the anime lords. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.